Oh, okay, so there is some lightning happening in the distance. So it's got a lethal atmosphere. Hello everyone, Thranxian is here, and welcome back to No Man's Sky, where planetary exploration is sort of our mission statement in life. We were about to leave and return to the Relentless in order to warp to the next system when I noticed something caused me to possibly change my mind. As I looked, I noticed there are quite a few rare fauna creatures here on the ground that are always active. And I thought to myself, how peculiar, right? So we have a couple of uncommon underground creatures. That's pretty special. 2 different varieties of uncommon underground creatures, kind of a fan. But 2 rare ground creatures, and then 1 rare ground, always active, found in the north. It says found in the north. So again, I'm kind of thinking we want to head to the north just to see if we can find any of these rare fauna. Because, alas, as we're conducting our planetary exploration, we have not really seen anything in the way of fauna on the ground. And I would love to make that a reality. So we've sort of got just a little bit of a sunset happening there, but what I would like to do is catch both of the stars at once. Sort of over the horizon. Sure. I think that's good. Let's dip back down into the planet and ensure that we are still heading to the north. Away from the coast. Remember, this planet is likely to be highly mountainous. Very thick atmosphere. But alas, we are still heading north, significantly so. And this area is not very mountainous, actually. Some mountains, some lakes, but overall, not so much. Let's punch out of the atmosphere and continue our pulse jumping. I sort of wish this scanner could identify the poles of a planet. That would be incredibly helpful. This area, being significantly far away from the coast, is likely to be very treacherous. But let's analyze the terrain. Yes, we can see. Here's the sign of all that tectonic activity we were talking about in the last episode. Tremendous amounts of it. Our north indicator seems to be moving rather rapidly, so I'm inclined to believe we're getting close to the North Pole. And I dare say that is just fun right there. That's just fun. It's all one color. It's kind of homogeneous, but smooth and, you know, a fun little peach color. All right, let's descend in the atmosphere and get our north indicator, because for all I know, we've passed the pole at this point. Nope, we are a little bit off target, but rapidly heading in the direction we want to go. And look at the difference in the terrain over here compared to where we were. Like, jeez, can you even... Oh, are those plants over there, or is that fauna? And those are indeed plants. Some little tiny little bit of plants. Nothing... Wow. Alright, well, we will continue to head north at this point. But I dare say, as fast as that needle is moving, we're about to hit the North Pole. Very, very quick. Is this a 3-star? No, that's just glare. Okay. I was pretty sure it was a binary star system. I don't know how you're supposed to find fauna, though, on these mountain peaks. They are so horrendously extreme. This might be a good place to settle and look here. Yes. Yes, I accept these terms. Relatively flat, somewhat, yeah, able to find a place to land, and also conduct some scans for fauna. It's fairly interesting here, though, how it's a viridescent planet without trees really to speak of. And that is so interesting. It's just grass and little shrubberies. A noticeable amount of life, especially with the oceans. The oceans are fairly rich in biodiversity, but lost insects. They feed on lost insects. Both of those plants feed on lost insects. Unexpectedly buoyant. Magnetic attraction and water resistant. I'm hearing creatures. I'm just not seeing them. And the little ember felt like it was being watched. But no, it's, alas, it is just a sentinel. Well, we can pick up some knowledge here at the Knowledge Stones. That's a fairly interesting picture, but I feel like we've taken a handful of pictures of this location, right? Maybe? It's so tough to encompass the scope of mountains like this. I can only imagine if... Uh-oh. Drop pod. You don't say. You guys better pull up. Yeah, exactly. Oh. Still not seeing any fauna, even though decidedly we are in the north. I think the best bet for fauna hunting, though, and I would like to do a little bit of it before we leave, is to take our pilgrim through these hills. Oh, did I say hills? I meant total mountains. And we'll learn some words along the way. Why not? Places like this would be catastrophic for a permadeath run where you have no or limited shield modules. Like, just downright frightening. Oh yeah. This is some flat greenery. Let's see what we got here. Uh-huh, creatures. Okay, kind of little cute things here. Not really... Oh, it is rare. It is a rare creature. It's a, whoa, a six-legged, fin-backed ram with scales for a hide? Tempted to feed you some enzyme fluid and see, you know what, let's, yeah, while we're sitting here, let's give, because I notice if you find creatures like this, and you decide to hang out and start feeding them, you're more likely to have other fauna spawn in. So, as the Atlas considers rendering maybe a few more fauna to us, let's get some enzyme fluid going. That's exciting. Just one, please. One ping only. Alright. Now, I think we should make some friends. That's what I think. Look at them. Oh boy. It's a bunch of fluid. It's enzyme fluid, to be fair. Oh, collect milk. Oh, it's a milking sort of situation. And what is it? It's fresh milk. Well, okay. I think it's okay. We've got milk. Got milk? Yes, we do. We have milk. Not what I expected. But I don't know why I didn't expect it. This is mountainous terrain. It would make sense something resembling a ram with 6 legs would make its home up here, right? If anything, I'm the goofball who wasn't all that prepared. I should have anticipated that would be the case. I think I've seen enough. No, get back. Stay away. At this point, we shall start planning our exploration mission further in the system to planets unknown. Did we come up with a name for this system, or for this planet? We have not yet. Okay, so then the name shall be... Ugh, no. Temperatia, how about... Veracia? Like, variety. Maybe. It's going to take some ingenuity finding the appropriate name for each planet without getting formulaic or repetitive, but I assure you, I'm up to the task, even if you disagree with the names. My best advice to you is to, go out there and sort of name your own. And then share them with me, and I'll be happy to... Who is shooting out there? Are we under red alert? Oh, it's an exotic. Single wing exotic with double engines. Alright, let's be done with all that. Okay, so now we have fully explored scorched terrain and temperance. Yep. And variance. Fire 145, the 80s. It has not... It's named like it has been explored, not by me, but by someone. Fire 150 is Suna. That was... Yep, that was one that was looked at. Berus visited, and we did not put it in the naming convention properly. This one was also visited and not put in the naming convention properly. I'm trying to understand why. And where is our conflagration? Right here? Okay, so let's start. This says visited one planet, Drogra 3. Can we get a ruling on that? It's actually very difficult to try to understand. Korvax, Viking, uninhabited, abandoned. Oh, look at this. You can sort your stuff. Oh, that is fun. That is way fun. So this system has not been uploaded or renamed, or barren planet with aggressive sentinels. And then what is this? A boggy planet. When did we explore this planet? I don't, I'm not entirely sure what happened. Oh, it might have been during one of the weekend missions that we traveled a little bit, and yeah, I think that could have been the case. So this goes outside of the Horary void. This is sort of the intersection. Yep, that's the Yesha adjunct, and then if we come up here to this, this is also part of the Yesha adjunct, and so is that. And that's part of the Horary void. Kukupa of the Thranxian conflagration, right? So that would have been, it's not quite in the naming convention, but definitely has been explored by someone in the Thranxian exploration mission statement. Rhea of the Thranxian conflagration. The planets are showing unexplored, though, which makes me think they have had significant changes to them. Deucer. Okay, well, there's only one thing to do. If we just start systematically working ourselves out, we can see that we have not been to Fire 145 the 80s, and none of the planets here are showing as explored, so this is our next stop. Fire 145 the 80s. That's a fun name. I like that name. I accept those terms. That's fun. I like that. It says planets discovered 5 out of 6. What? No, it's showing no planets discovered. 1 week ago by Nuts. So it appears the planets sometimes revert to undiscovered post-update, and sometimes they do not. Let's see if we can figure out the rhyme or the reason, huh? We have a Noxious planet. Looks like it's mid-storm right now. We have... ooh, hello. That's pushing it. I think we should head to the one that's actively in a storm right now. I'm curious to visit more fungal planets and more radioactive planets because in the past, for me, those were flyover planets. Like, oh, you're a Noxious planet? Yeah, I don't got time for you. Oh, you're a radioactive planet? Yeah, pass. But now I'm curious. I'm curious to see their similarities, their differences. I know that in the past, for me, while I enjoyed cold planets, they felt like they were always similar. And now they do not. So hopefully we'll get a similar experience here. And we're definitely pushing through a storm. Okay, put on the inertial dampeners. We've punched through the layer. We've got limited visibility. The ground's coming up on us fairly quickly. Let's throttle back. Look at the flatness of the terrain here. You can tell there's a lot of erosion happening with the storm. I think what we need to do is, yeah, let's post up here next to this beacon. We'll do a scan for a building. Oh. Okay, so there is some lightning happening in the distance. Let's see what sort of... it's got a lethal atmosphere. I don't know how else to put it other than... It's a fairly benign storm, I guess. I say that, but as far as storms go, it's not the most extreme storm we've seen. Not by a long shot. The sun is reflecting very heavily through... there we go. I can accept the default filter. I can accept those terms. The sun is reflecting very heavily, trying to punch through the storm cloud. We don't know much other than the atmosphere is lethal. Still growing. Grows from atmospheric moisture. Seems like this planet would light up quite significantly at night. Currently 9 in the morning. We're not going to see that on this side of the planet. Unknown building. That's a shelter. Okay. The tox meter is registering very, very high. Almost, yeah, hitting 100 in some points. It looks like the storm is letting up, though. And instead we just have an intensely bright sun in the sky. So where is the toxicity coming from? That's the question, right? It's got to be some of these plants are, in fact, venting something. It's a noxious planet with a lethal atmosphere. But yet, life finds a way. Slow grazer eats oxide elements. Highly fertile. I imagine you'd have to be highly fertile to exist on a planet like this, right? You'd have to be to overcome the odds. Would you not? Almost like the Krogan homeworld. You'd need significant reproductive advantage to populate and thrive on a planet such as this. I'm very curious to leave this part of the planet, though, and cross that day-night terminator. So I think we should just do that. We should just jump right to it. I'm happy to say it absolutely has a unique feel for a noxious planet. Not really what I expected at all. It's not very green. Not really a lot of mushrooms. Are we working our way away from the star, or what is the deal? Alright, if we just punch in a straight line... and then spin back around, we should be able to see the night side of the planet fairly easily. There we go. Maybe we want to be more towards a pole and not so much an equator. Just to see terrain variation. Okay, now we do have some terrain variation here. Some bits of mountains. Plateaus. Oh, they're very conical in nature. I think at this point we can safely say terrain biomes are confirmed. A bit unique here. A bit unique. If we just zoom out there, and we catch something like this, right? No, we want both mountains visible if we can. Gosh, the terrain seems to scale up so much in that direction. And we have caves. I can accept terms like that. Oh, there's even glowing moss on the ground? Alright, we're setting down. Not really any mushrooms to speak of. But something has caused the atmosphere here to go foul. Salt bonding formation process. Wind erosion with a low specific gravity. Oh, no, hold on. We found some spores. Nutrient source off the soil bacteria. Soil bacteria. We may have found the culprit. Vented minerals. So there is some form of mineral in the ground. Yeah, that's fun right there. talking about noxious planets. There's some form of mineral exiting the ground that bacteria are either eating or excreting. I'm leaning towards the bacteria are... Well, it doesn't matter what their process in the food chain is. If the bacteria themselves are in fact excreting toxic chemicals, then the mushrooms... Fungal reclamation. Yep. Made of Fecium. Perhaps finding some fauna would really clear this up. I think it's fairly safe to say that the mushrooms that are growing out of the bacteria in the soil are quite possibly the culprit for the chain reaction that is running away on this planet and producing a lethal atmosphere. Of course, flora like this doesn't help. Fungal reclamation. Generally, though, those sorts of hazardous flora occur quite commonly and are often mitigated by other environmental effects. They very rarely cause a chain reaction to run away. We have something interesting here. Carnivorous with multicolored wood. Oh, yeah. So there's your noxious planet. Well, yeah, okay. I get it. I get it. I'm pretty much a believer. Every planet must be explored. None can really be left behind. But the fauna... Are we really going to depart without locating any fauna? The hunt for fauna can be a little extreme. We did find one, rare. That might be enough. As interesting and unique as this planet is, it's not really, quote, speaking to me. Recorded in the poisonous rain and toxic air of this current planet, patient and slow, they nibble and graze in perpetuity as they loll across the plains. Their blood is highly toxic to most predators, thanks to their oxide-rich diet, and they're highly fertile. I'd almost be a little concerned about any predators on this planet, as I imagine they would be pretty gnarly. Oh. Stand by. Scented herbs. Alpha of its species. Very gentle. Eats mostly rocks. Creates beautiful webs. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. Where they thrive in the chokingly toxic atmosphere, social animals, they show great care in tending to their young and their sick. Dense teeth and a series of extremely acidic stomachs allow them to consume a diet mostly consisting of rocks. How peculiar. Oh, wow. And most of the rocks here on this planet are full of either ferrite dust or ammonia. Okay. I'm good with that. Let us find another planet. Oh my goodness, look at that. How did we miss this plateau over here? It's not even like a plateau, it's like... What? It is a plateau, but it's so oddly shaped. So it's like some of the mountains are small, little conical protrusions, and some are these massive plateaus. Look, with this crater on it. Okay, and then look, as we head in this direction, we get more and more mountains. Yeah. Pretty darn interesting. Next up on the list of places to visit is, oh yeah, unknown planet. A breached planet. I think we can do that. And before we head over there, let us go ahead and catalog our discovery here to be glowingly lethal. Yeah, sure. Again, with the slightly slower pulse engine. Luminal thorax. Need to get a few more of these pulsing heart upgrades. So we need a few more upgrades. We don't really even have an upgrade for the screen suppressor. Yeah, we don't, and yet, we're still pretty much single-handedly just destroying ships in combat. I think if this is the type of planet I think it is, we still need one of these planets in our base system for decorations. So perhaps this is one that we would put a base computer on. I'm not certain. I think we'll head to the night side just to see what we're dealing with at night. And... okay. Interesting sort of rock and terrain development here. Let's slow down and let the anomaly start to present itself to us. Rugged sort of plateaus, right? Oof, we're seeing some surface phenomenon. Oh my. Okay then. Right, so what that tells me is this is indeed one of those planets we need to settle a base computer on for the collection of fissures. As I was building the Shrine of the Crimson Lyre back at the Conflagration Capital is when I realized I did not have a base set up to utilize these. What is this sort of like bubbling... what? Like stuff is just bubbling out of the ground? How peculiar. That's pretty gosh darn majestic. It looks a little chaotic, doesn't it? That vapor filter maybe is a little bright. And those are a bit dark. Can't go wrong with default. Thirsty Clouds. That's one we've seen before. Flora documented, minerals. There's our sunrise. And even more so, it draws attention to the fact that the planet is literally breaking up and lifting up around us. I think it's safe to say we would still like to collect some of these decorations, as we don't have that many, and I find them to be amazing. They're some of my favorite. So Their ability to do different colored lights without power wires effectively makes them amazingly awesome. And let's just switch to the mining beam. There we go. What, they're like underground? Is that a thing? The entire planet feels like it's breaking apart to just float skyward. Even huge sections of like plateaus have just been lifted up around us. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, there you go. With the sun peering right underneath one of those. The blue sky. Not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm sure it was more alien than blue sky. Oh, 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 oh! A being of pure light! Unafraid with coagulated blood. Ooh. I'll take those nanites, thank you. Sort of this slate gray, rocky ground, these jagged plateaus, and the blue sky. Yeah, I think what we're looking at here is indeed ruptured reality. Let's grab a few more of these light fissures that I can see already in the distance are decorative. And oh my. Now that's fun. I think this is going to be our site for our base, or at least at least somewhere maybe overlooking this cliff. I think we could safely put it up here and say there are lots of decorations within, lots of glitches to harvest within a certain area, sort of overlooking this giant pit, and you can see them all the way over there. There's so many of them. Let's do it, and this will mark every type of decorative planet pushed into our portal terminus system at this time. This is the last one. Not necessarily something for a large base, but something nonetheless to put into our base network. Change the name to Fissures of Light. I'd like to try that. I'd like to try for a vowel and some consonants, forming words, and complete. Thank you. And of course we can't upload it. And who would want to upload it? It's not really a base, really. It is a place holder, a base place holder. I like the added effects. It really does feel like this planet is just breaking apart. It's just going to float away. Piece by piece. It's rupturing from all this pure energy, data. I mean, what do we think this is? Just ripping out of the planet's surface here. Code? Does the Atlas even code? Is that a thing? What are we up to? We have 4 light fissures. That puts us at 11. That's reasonably decent. And we have every other glitch decorative base sort of sealed up in our system. So I think that's good. I dare say we've seen enough here. Oh, the cave could be interesting. What do we have? We have this green sort of effect. Not a lot happening here. Copper deposits. Yeah, no hotspots nearby. You could find a very awesome place for a base here if you were highly determined, highly motivated. However, we are not. Our mission is exploration and not necessarily base building at this time. The blue sky really... It's almost like the uncanny divide, right? Because if you just look at the terrain in the blue sky, you think you're in some sort of rocky, granite, mountainous area, and then this happens, and you go, oh, well, maybe not. Low atmosphere detected on that planet. Fun. And where might we head next? We have an unmapped Noxious planet. No more planets in this direction besides the one we just went to. So it looks like all of our planets... Oh, hold up. That's glowingly lethal. So we have, what, how many planets in total? 6? I only see 2. Okay, and then one far away one over there. A reeking planet. Reeking? Reeking. 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away? No. When planetary space travel takes more than a couple of minutes, or takes a couple of minutes, a Hymel planet with oceans, or we have that Noxious planet, and the final undiscovered planet is Viridescent. Let's deviate, and let's head over to... Oh, this must be a high conflict system. Let's head over to the unmapped Noxious planet near where we entered the system at. And get a little peek at what makes it unique. Let's deviate a little bit. Oh, alien melody, you don't say. Grafted inode, S-class. Sure, I'm not opposed to that. Not so much what we're going for, but it is a thing. And we'll take it.
Warning. Threat detected.
We can put our gold in there. Let's see, chromatic metal goes here. What does this recharge with? Mordite and oxygen. And that recharges with pugnium. We're getting there. We're getting there. We don't have any grafted eye modules. Yeah, over here. Oh my goodness. Why are we not putting so much more over on our technology side of things, right? Like that doesn't even make sense. And then we can move our singularity cortex over there. Yep. Yeah, we opened up some space. That's what matters. Looks like the sun is moving in this direction. So if we head... I don't want to do the bounty. Let's maybe head to the pole. We know that the polar area is going to be up here, based on the changing line of the sun from where we looked at it. So we can end up on the night side here, and then maybe a short jump to the day side. Alright. This area, very, very smoothed out and flat. With fungus trees. Oh, I see, I see. There's your polar sunrise. I would request a landing at your earliest convenience. You know what? I'm over that. Grind it till you find it? No, 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 no. Not when we have so many options available to us. Quite exciting, quite exciting. Let's begin. Photosynthesis, plant structures, and then over here we have... so it says acid rain. So this is a typical planet with some acid rain, and we can see our usual sort of mushroom fungal biomes here. Fungal symbiosis. Nutrient source. Fermented corpses. Fermented corpses. That's what it says. That is not a thing that I can make up. Oh no. So we'll get some salvage data. We'll get some... oh, we actually need that. We've unfortunately lost a lot of our Fecium through industry. Not a thing you really say or hear all that often, honestly, but that's what happened. Might as well save and chart. Scan some more of the local flora. Pleasing aroma with a fractal root structure formed by salt fusion. Artificial rocks. You don't say, oh, look at the stuff in the air. Yeah, you can see, okay, so this is definitely more of a green sort of what you're thinking of when you think of a noxious planet. The local plant life, yeah. Hey, you need to water this thing. You know that, right? I mean, that's, you know, I need to sell you some H2O. Although I don't have any, to be sure. I would like some drop pod coordinate data, please. That's right. Once we finally go to the Nexus, we're just going to be handing out goodies for everyone. Oh, this can be refined. We don't want to hold on to this more than we need to. Freighter, and you go away. And fresh milk. That is a paleo all day situation. I know you're wondering, where did all my fresh milk go? But let's just be honest and clear. I didn't keep it all. All that stuff we had gathered automatically at the Cerulean Terraces, I mistakenly destroyed it and thought that it would just go into my inventory, and it did not. So, although we likely have a base salvage capsule full of goodies, just like overflowing with goodness, doesn't necessarily help us at this time. What I would kind of like, well, I'm not... I don't necessarily want to just dismiss this planet outright. But I feel like if we haven't even seen a single fauna, then we're doing ourselves a disservice, right? Oh. Somehow flourishing amidst the acid rain. No, that is pretty neat. That is very mushroom, very fungal. It's really not hard to see where the toxicity is coming from. So a lot of these mushrooms, this is my thought process, I'm just going to talk through it. A lot of these mushrooms show their nutrient source to be fermented corpses, and they have a choking scent. That to me says there was likely some major mass extinction event, potentially volcanic, potentially... Ooh, is that a monolith? Potentially volcanic in nature, potentially, you know, a meteor or asteroid, and in this mass extinction event, most of the fauna of the time perished, and once it perished, it littered the ground with corpses, and I feel like there was a feedback loop. The bacteria would begin to break them down, and as they would ferment and spoil, these mushrooms started to grow. They found a rich nutrient source, and as they continued to populate and dot the earth everywhere the creatures had perished, they began to put out their choking spores into the air, which seeded the clouds with the chemical combinations necessary to produce acid rain. Now, we're not told what sort of acid rain it is, although I imagine there's lots of different types of acid that can form in rain clouds. I'm not going to speculate to assume it's anything similar to what we might have. That's my theory, that's my hypothesis, and I think we're going to scan this monolith and stick with that. Learning lots of Korvax words lately. Sort of been seeing a lot of Korvax systems. For breach, for build, and for cease. Cease building, or there will be a breach. Look at that, 2 buildings next to each other. And a monolith, all in very short order next to each other. That's kind of neat. I'm tempted to see if there's any other unknown buildings nearby. Doesn't appear like it. It's fine. Let's see what we can learn from this monolith. Korvax echoes request. Traveler, restore holy casing to Korvax convergence. Ignore valuable casing, please. An empty shell of an electronic life form emerges from the monolith. It is ancient and weather-beaten. The light in its mask has been extinguished for many centuries. I will add metal to the canister. The light in the mask flicker on. The casing convulses before being absorbed back into the monolith. I am blessed. As we learn more words of the Atlas, will we ever get to converse with the Atlas again? I feel like there's a subtle meta story to No Man's Sky that's almost difficult to get to. You would have to complete monolith after monolith and slowly learn the words of the Atlas, so that at every interaction with the Atlas you are able to decipher their language and see what it is exactly they're saying and precisely. And if you've already done the Atlas, I don't think there's a way to go back and speak with it again. And so, learning the words of the Atlas now, while I hope may be important one day, so far is not. I hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. Until next time, take care.